pretty much day 1 or 2 into Reagan. They were like, no more.
No, so Reagan got to take credit for Carter, more than anything, wanted to free the hostages before he left office. And he actually did that. He was up all night for several nights. He was haggard. There's a great story about the day of Reagan's inauguration that Carter went to get him. That's the tradition, is the sitting president goes and collects the new president and takes him, escorts him. So the story was that he went to Reagan's hotel room where he was staying, and him and Nancy were, Reagan was putting on his tie and Nancy was getting dressed, and it was like fuck smell in the room.
Oh, no.
Story. I remember reading this somewhere.
Which you have to.
The Carter was like, they fuck. They're like in it.
Stinks like sex in here.
Yeah,
these two
they
fucking,
fucked.
these freaks.
Yeah.
They power
came
hungry.
all over her.
Horny from the power
Yes.
he just assumed.
He gave her another pearl necklace.
Yes.
And so that was the thing.
Wasn't there a thing coming out with Nancy was good at giving head?
Yeah, recently.
I don't know what that was.
Nancy
I didn't
Reagan,
really look into it.
Frank Sinatra says that a very important secret to singing is that you eat an apple and you wait an hour and then you throw it up because it creates a gravel in your throat and it gives you texture. He learned this from Nancy Reagan. There's only one way that a woman would learn this trick is because she's fucking bulimic. One day she ate an apple, she threw up, and then she's like, I sound great. So the next time she worked with Sinatra, she's like, you should do, Frank.
Yeah.
And she spread it as like a trick of the trade. That was Nancy Reagan. She probably did it with cum too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think she did it with cum.
These people are all dead, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But so Nancy and Ron, Jimmy Carter had this in his unsleeping, had this little observation that Reagan was grumpy on the inauguration. He didn't feel like doing it, and that they had just fucked. And then they all got in the limo together, and Jimmy got the news that the hostages were being freed, but Reagan got to announce it. So Ronald Reagan is...
Yeah, it's funny. I get all these legends from my Republican family.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'll tell you what, that pussy Carter couldn't get it done. Day 1 of Reagan.
That's right. Well,
those Muslims knew.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with a Republican.
That's right. So Reagan, and I heard this, my legend, so who knows which one's real. But Reagan was a fascinating president, 2 terms. There was
I got one. Did Nixon start the war on drugs? I think it was Nixon. I know Reagan. Reagan was huge on it.
Yes, Nancy Reagan said just say no.
Yeah,
which was hated because people were addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
Also, AIDS started with Reagan, and Reagan. I mean, he was the first AIDS. He fucked a monkey. He fucked Bonzo.
He fucked the monkey.
There's a bunch of movies about him and a monkey. Yeah,
he fucked
Bonzo. Bedtime for Bonzo. He fucked Bonzo.
That's where Bedtime for Bonzo comes from?
Nancy, I think I got AIDS from. So Reagan, he was. There's a piece of footage of Reagan. There's a documentary about Huckleberry Finn, and it's about how it gets banned. And then refound and banned throughout history. Huckleberry Finn has been banned by liberals who don't like the N-word, and then conservatives who don't like whatever they have.
The
a problem. It just keeps going back and forth. Yeah. And Mark Twain, there's some quote where Mark Twain said, "I knew when I created Huck, he'd get in trouble his whole damn life. He knew that this was going to happen." Okay, so there's a character in Huckleberry Finn. I'm going to say his name. His name was Wow. That was his name. Now this won't be on YouTube. It'll just get.
Yes.
So, there's footage of Reagan, doing some tribute to Mark Twain, and whatever he's doing, he's opening a center or something, and he says, he goes, and who could forget the wonderful stories of Huckleberry Finn and his friend Jim. And you can see him look off, and you know that there's guys going, did we talk about this? Like, don't say it, Mr. President. But that's it. I mean, I read the books. That's his name, fellas. You can't say it. Oh, well, geez. I mean, that makes no sense. It's in the goddamn book. And so that you can see it.
Don't say that
and
word.
His friend, Jim.
Yeah.
Fuck this country. God damn it.
Yeah, don't say that. But then go ahead and do the war on drugs.
Yeah.
Don't say that word.
Yeah. But so Reagan was his whole he was a president of SAG, and then he was governor of California. Hated hippies, just fucking hated them so much.
I gotta be honest. I think I would have too.
I think I probably would have hated. I mean, George Harrison hated hippies.
Yeah,
George Harrison. There's an interview with him where he went to Haight-Ashbury. He's like, I heard they're all, and he was like, they were just disgusting drug addicts. So yes, hippies are gross. They always were. So Reagan. I mean, there's so much about Reagan. For fuck's sake, he 2 terms, and George Bush was his vice president.
Cold War.
Mr. Gorbachev, take down this wall.
Yes.
And he called the Soviet Union the evil empire.
Yeah.
And then there was that crazy, when they went to Reykjavik, like they got really close. He did have an obsession with bringing down the proliferation of nuclear weapons. It was something that he cared about. And so they had a treaty. They had a shot at a treaty. And they flew to Reykjavik, Iceland, the 2 of them. And it was this exciting time where there might be this treaty signed. And then there was this awful midnight footage, which you can also see, of the 2 of them leaving at the same time. And Reagan's going, nah. And Gorbachev's going like, what do you want from me? Reagan's going, no, man, no fucking way. And they get in their cars and they leave. And it was like, shit.
Yeah.
It was scary.
We're going to keep nukes.
And it looked like something worse might happen. But Gorbachev was an interesting dude, Something interesting was going on there, different from the other guys.
Yeah.
But so Reagan, I'm trying to remember the thing I was going to say about him. He, Well, he was shot, and I remember that.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to talk about.
So I went to
that guy's out.
What's that?
He just got out.
Hinckley's out?
Hinckley's out. There's pictures. There's like TMZs taking pictures of him. Like,
you think if I kill
Subway.
Hinckley, that'll help me?
That'll help. Only if it's for Jodie Foster.
You think if I could? Yeah. She's
Somebody's
still around.
Somebody's got to fuck Jodie Foster.
Somebody. I mean, in connection with that.
Yes.
So.
She said that.
What?
What did she say?
That's my favorite.
When he got out, apparently she was like, I actually was kind of impressed when he.
No.
I swear.
She said that?
I've heard something else. I heard that she was talking to like Phoebe Cates or somebody.
She was being funny.
And she said to Phoebe Cates, like, hey, nobody ever shot the president for you, honey, or something like that. And there's a million stories about Jodie
really
Foster taking, which all might be false.
I think, didn't Ed Hinckley, I think he used to call her and like leave voicemails.
I don't know anything about
I think she was in college.
I don't think they had voicemail then.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Answering machine. He would call and be like,
send her tapes.
He's like, wait till you see what the fuck
Wait till you see.
I love
Jodie,
you
please
so
watch.
much.
Make sure you're watching TV.
I went to kill him. He just got fucked up.
My mom hated Ronald Reagan, hated him since the 70s, and she saw him coming. There was a thing about Reagan that was like Trump for Democrats, which was, it was like, it's a nightmare scenario. Reagan is a nightmare scenario. It's the end of all things. He is the worst guy in the world. And they had connections between him and white supremacy, like a bunch of them. Like the place he gave his first speech as a candidate is a famous, horrible. It's where the students were
in
killed.
Mississippi.
Yeah, it was like in that. It was like he's standing on their fucking the car that they took out of the mud. Not that, but he was there. So a lot of people made connections with that shit. But people hated Ronald Reagan before he was president. When he won, I remember my mom being deeply disturbed by it. And so there was this feeling he's not a good guy. We have a bad president from some people's point of view. And then other people, you were very aware, fucking loved the guy. I mean, so much. And the mask, the rubber mask of him, what became a thing. And SNL was making fun of him and all this stuff. But there were these people that just absolutely, they loved Reagan without any reason, and some people were on his side, all kinds of stuff. But there's a lot of Democrats who just couldn't stand the guy. But life went on. And then when he got shot, I went to my friend Jeff Drew's house, and he said that the president just got shot. And these are two things I remember watching on live TV again later. One was that, and one was Anwar Sadat being assassinated. The whatever president of, I'm sorry, but I don't remember if it was fucking Egypt or Israel. But it was Sadat was killed, and I was watching it on the news live.
It was Israel.
I don't. Well, there was later.
Somebody got shot in Israel.
Yeah, I'm fucking up all the names.
Yeah,
but that was when Clinton was president. So
okay.
Anwar Sadat was on a military. They were having a parade, and there was troops marching in front of him, and they turned around and fucking.
That's got to be Egypt.
I mean, yeah, probably.
That
right?
sounds about.
I mean, it was nuts. Threw hand grenades. It was his guys. And they turned around and just riddled. There was a bunch of guys like at a dais, like a whole bunch of dignitaries, and they just
what?
And I was watching this. I was watching the live news, and they broke in and said, I mean, somewhat watching. There was a special report that used to be a big thing. Now it's every fucking news break.
Breaking.
Yeah, breaking news. Anwar Sadat is dead. We have footage. It's straight out of the Betacam. And it hasn't been edited. We're going to warn you that this hasn't been edited. And I watched this footage of a guy just watching the fucking parade, and then boom, 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 and then the lens goes down, and then he goes up on the bandstand, and you see a guy holding his own arm with
what the
cut
fuck?
Off, and there's like strands of blood and stuff and muscle, and he's holding it and he's dazed, like asking people walking by, like, what do I do with my arm, like that kind of thing, and just blood. I mean, I was a kid and I saw that on TV. And the other thing was Reagan had just been shot when I got to Jeff's house, and we sat down and we watched that footage, 20,000, of him like the Dumlin, and he got thrown into the limousine, and
Hinckley,
his own guy, jumped on him.
Didn't he kill one of the guys?
He killed a cop. James Brady who was the press secretary, took one to the head and was like this for the rest of his life. And the Brady bill was this big gun. His whole life became about gun control.
How the fuck
the Brady
is Hinckley
bill
out,
was
dude?
started by his family, by James Brady, who was Republican, conservative Reagan's press secretary. He was his spokesman. Very, very brilliant guy who suddenly was like this and talk like that, and he would make speeches, and his wife would help him. And the Brady bill was like, of course we're going to pass this, because it was, and a lot of Republicans were in favor of it, but the NRA was just a motherfucker. There was no way to pass it. You looking up James Brady?
No, I'm just looking at how funny Hinckley is now. Look at him. He's just leaving a Subway.
Oh, he looks exactly like me.
He's doing pretty good.
He looks like me. He's got the same body.
Playing guitar.
Good for you, John.
To CNN.
Good boy.
Man who shot Reagan is now posting love songs online.
He's like, I got to get chicks the old-fashioned way. Sing him a song.
Just leaving Subway.
I used to shoot presidents to impress girls, and now I just sing them a song. Like a good old boy.
I hope he gets pussies
What
playing
is he
guitar.
eating there? That's
it's a Subway, dude. Just get a nice
Subway,
hoagie.
just like Jared. If he keeps eating those, he can get skinny like Jared and fuck
now
children.
He's going to get some pussy.
He can be a kid fucking president murdering guitarist. This guy's not done.
He's
building
got
his
chance.
brand. He's still building his brand.
He's got a shot.
I mean, he looks young and healthy.
It's funny to be fat and be like, I'm trying to get pussy. I could
So
either,
you know the story about
go
him
to the gym.
that he had. These are the legends. He had dinner at George Bush's house, apparently like a couple of weeks before he shot the president.
No.
Look up John Hinckley and the Bush family. Their families were linked. The Hinkleys, I think, gave money to the Bushes or something like that. But apparently Hinckley was a guest in a Bush house an alarmingly short amount of time before he shot President Reagan. And a very interesting thing about it is that George Bush was where when Reagan was shot? Do you know where George Bush was?
When Reagan was shot?
Texas. He was in Texas. There's this thing about
Wasn't
Texas.
he in Dallas when Kennedy got shot?
That's what folks say. And he was at Texas is this place to it feels like
he was Skull and Bones.
But Skull and Bones, very big. George Bush, and we'll get to him, but George Bush was a power nerd, and he was a guy who really hated Reagan.
The shooter's father, John Hinckley Sr., was friends with George H.W. Bush.
Yes. So he's like,
regular contributors to the Bush campaign.
Yes. How's your son? How's your boy John? Oh, I got to tell you, he's troubled. He's troubled. Troubled, is he? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe I should have a talk with him.
He's like, hey, you want to fuck Jodie Foster?
No, he's like, so tell me what's going on. I'm just really into Jodie. I'm just really in love with Jodie Foster. I know that's weird, but I'm in love with Jodie Foster. Well, son, you can't just sit on your keister. You got to do something. I mean, what could you do to get her? Well, how should I get? I wrote her letters. I wrote hundreds of letters. A girl like that, she's famous. You got to do something for everyone to see.
Yeah, I'll tell you who she hates.
Do something that's gonna make everybody see.
I just talked to Jodie. You know who she really hates?
I mean, if you were to do something to, you know what they say. Now, was Lenin dead yet? Lenin was 1980. He was shot in 1980.
December 8th.
And when was Kennedy? Well, I mean Kennedy. When was Reagan shot? When was Lenin shot? Important dates.
Reagan was shot in 81.
So
Reagan was shot in 81. So right after fucking David Chapman killed Lenin.
Yeah.
And he said, the Beatles changed the world and I changed the Beatles. You know what that Chapman fellow said? I read this in Rolling Stone magazine. He said, the Beatles changed the world, and gosh, they sure did. And I changed the Beatles. That's what he said. So I don't know. I mean, a fella could find someone who's really changing the world. I don't know. I mean, anyone, Stevie Wonder, Ronald Reagan. And
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. And maybe have an effect on his life. I mean, what do you. Anyway, so yeah, so Hinckley was like, I don't know why you're talking about that, but I know what you're saying. And so then he went to his bedroom and he looked in the drawer and he found a gun. He's like, "Where's this gun come from?"
I left something for you.
I left you a little something.
You know you have to do something.
Yeah. So if you're the vice president and you have anything to do with the president being shot, you need to be in Texas, because if there's any sort of like, we have word that vice president, whatever, and then the governor of Texas is like, we're not extraditing. Like, it's the one place he might be able to hole up and maybe even stage a coup from. He's like, no, we're the Republic of Texas now. Like, it could work. So Bush is in Texas and he refuses to come to Washington. It was a big deal because he just should have taken over, but he refuses to come to Washington. He's like, I'm not going to show up in the White House while the Gipper's fighting for his life. He made big statements about it. But he stayed away. And it got really chaotic, as we all know. There's a great movie.
How long was Reagan out?
I think a few days. But Nancy, so there's an amazing movie made by HBO called The Day the President Was Shot. Richard Crenna plays Reagan, and Richard Dreyfuss plays Alexander Haig. And it's like a comedy in a way. But anyway, when Nixon was when Reagan, they drove him to George. There's a hospital that's for the president. First of all, the cottage, the White House, they have a emergency room. They have everything there. But he was bleeding. He was spitting blood. So
Hinckley.
And
Hinckley got him.
He got him. He fucking shot him in the armpit.
The president's in a limo.
Shot him, and then he thought his bodyguard jumped on him. And then he said, I think you broke my rib. That's what he thought happened. He said, I think he broke my rib. So they were going to go back to the White House to get him looked at. But then he started spitting lots of blood. And so they went straight to George Washington Hospital, which was just a fucking homeless people out front. And the fucking limousine by itself just screeches up. And they brought a gurney, but the president said, I'm not going in on my back. You're not doing that.
What?
To me. It's true. And he walked in. Like, yeah. And this great. This movie. The best part is showing him, hello, walking by, and you see this black guy go like, oh shit, like, oh shit, like just 80s black guys who are in front of a hospital, like their wife's fucking having a baby, and they're smoking, and that's the fucking president, and he's like, hello, and then as soon as he got inside.
Hey, fellas, how are you?
Yes, he crumbled, and they got him on the gurney, and they're going, and he came to at one moment because the nurse was holding his hand, and he said, "Does Nancy know about you and me?" And then right before he went under,
a charming devil.
yes, the doctors right before anesthesia, they said, because they had to tell him he was the head of the fucking world, and he was in charge, and they didn't know, do we? He's going under anesthesia, and they said, Mr. President, we're going to put you under. We have to get this bullet out of you, and it was an exploding bullet.
Hinckley.
So the doctors were all in danger. Hinckley used an exploding bullet, and it was next to his heart. It was like leaning against his heart like this, the bullet. And so the doctors said, we got to get this bullet out of you, so I'm going to put you under now. And he said, I hope that you guys are Republicans. And the doctor, who was not a Republican, said, Mr. President, today we're all Republicans. And he saved his life. But he was he was on death's door for a few days. Now, the White House has Alexander Haig saying, "I'm in charge here at the White House." He was the Secretary of State. He had no business saying that. He was like, he made up this thing by the laws of succession. I would be next. It's like, no, you're like 20th down. And meanwhile, at the hospital, Nancy's there with the chief of staff, and there was a battle between the White House and the guys at the hospital. So they needed to prove that Reagan was functioning as a president. So they needed a photograph, and they needed him to do a piece of business. So they had the dairy bill, some bill that's like for dairy subsidies that needed to be signed.
Jackpot for those guys.
Yes. So they're like,
oh, we did it, Hinckley! Hinckley, baby, I love you.
Hinckley! That's what it was. It was the milk people. The milk people did the whole
Big
thing.
Milk, dude.
For another 15 cents on a fucking carton of milk. So Nancy got enlisted, and they said, you need to do this, and you need to handle him like you handled him in the movies. And so she put makeup on his face, and she like slaps, she said, Ronnie, you gotta wake up. And they leaned his bed up like this, and she just kept trying to wake him up. And this is all in the movie, done very well, but it's true. And they took a picture of him like, there's this picture of him, like a really weird picture that I think did more harm than good. And then he signed
he looks great.
Yeah, he signed the dairy bill. It's a great picture. One great picture is very rare to find of Reagan. He had many operations. He was a very sick and dying old man.
Yeah.
He had some brain, like something taken off his brain or something. So he had half of his head was shaved. And he was coming out of the airplane, and he had a baseball cap on, and he went like this.
Oh no!
And Nancy's going, "Don't!" She's like horrified, and because he thought it was funny. Half his head is shaved. It's creepy. I saw that picture once. I never saw it again. So anyway, Reagan survived, obviously, and then that just was a massive lift.
Yeah,
I remember as a kid, my mother hated Reagan, and I was just like, "Yeah, good, good for you." Everybody was happy for him. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Oh my God. Yeah,
she's really mad. Yes.
It's
so Reagan,
Iran's a guy rocking.
Iran-Contra happens. They were there were still some hostages in Iran, and they were offering the Iranians weapons in exchange for hostages and money. And then they were going to use the money to fund the Contras and in El Salvador.
Yeah.
And it was all done by this guy, Oliver
North.
Yeah. Colonel Oliver North. It was Reagan. It was dirty. It was a dirty Reagan thing. And Reagan said, I take responsibility for it. Because I'm not sure what I remember that I was told about this, and we're looking into it. But make no mistake, it's my responsibility. Nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
So he did that, and that kind of got him through it. And it made people believe that he was really looking into it. And then they pinned it all on this guy who, I remember his hearings it was the biggest deal since Watergate. Iran-Contra gate. That's what it was the first thing that they said gate about. And Oliver North he said,
what a dumb thing to add gate.
He said somebody pitched this idea to me of the missiles and then the money. And he said, I thought it was a neat idea. And when everybody heard him say that, it became plausible that this fucking dummy did. He just was stupid and crazy, and that he did it. He later ran for governor of Virginia as a Republican. Might be West Virginia, I'm sorry. But Chuck Todd, who was that lieutenant that sent the tape to Lyndon Johnson's son-in-law, who was thought to be the next he was supposed to be the next Kennedy, but he had a bad coke habit. But he was cool enough to be a senator. He was senator from, I think, West Virginia for years, and he just didn't care anymore. So there's another great documentary called The Perfect Candidate, and it's a really great, it's a documentary about him running against Oliver North. Decided after all this shit had happened, he's going to run. And it teaches you something about presidential politics. That's why I'm bringing it up. So Chuck Todd was a Democrat. He's like one of these guys you have now, just a machine Democrat. Like there's a scene in the documentary where a reporter asks him, "What do you think of furlough programs in prisons?" And he goes, "What? I didn't say anything about it. I haven't said anything about that." And he goes, "Well, what do you think about it?" He goes, I haven't changed my position on, I have a very good record on crime." And he goes, "I'm just asking your opinion."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, I appreciate the work that everybody has done." And he walks away. And the guy's like, "I can't even get an opinion out of this guy." That's who's running, right? He's a tool.
Yeah.
And he's the Democrat. And then Oliver North, he announces his candidacy in a black church, all black ladies. And he's this notorious guy. Mm-hmm. And he says, "I've made terrible, terrible mistakes in my life." And you hear the black women,
they'll forgive him.
And he goes, "And I'm a bad man. I've been a bad man. But there's one thing I love, and that's the people of West Virginia." And he starts crying.
Oh, my God.
And they just love him. They love him. And he's winning he's going to be a senator.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And then right at the end of the documentary, Clinton, who is just sweeping the country, comes in and spends like 2 days just going, Chuck Todd is the only man in this. And the black women love Clinton, and he put him over the top. Okay. Reagan gets old. He gets Alzheimer's while he's in office. Nancy Reagan very openly talked about this once he was dead, because Alzheimer's became her issue. And so she didn't mind giving his legacy away because it was more important to take care of the disease. So she gave us some great stories. One of them was that she was at she was always at meetings, and he told a funny story, and then ate some chicken, and then he told it again.
Oh no!
Told it twice, and everyone was there. Ed Meese or whoever the guys in, and she said in his presence, "Do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Does anybody do we see what's happening here?" Because she was really concerned.
Yeah. And they're like, no.
So they started having meetings about it. And there's a great story. Reagan's doctor, which you can look it up, decided it was time to talk about it. He examined Reagan, and then he went to Reagan's ranch in California. And Reagan was chopping wood. His body never gave up on him. He was as fucking strong as a piece of oak. He was chopping wood in a red flannel. You could just see this, you know, on his ranch. And the doctor comes up and he says, "Mr. President, I got an issue." He says, "Some of us think that you might be losing your mental capacities. And right now you're okay, but you're declining. And I need to know what to do if I perceive that because I can't talk to you once you lose your mind. Yeah. We can't have this conversation. Maybe in a year or so, I won't be able to have this conversation with you because you won't be cognizant. So while you're still okay, and I think you are, I need instructions from you. What do I do when I believe that you've left the earth?" And Reagan just took it as a piece of business. He took off his leather gloves and he said, "Well, speak to Nancy and speak to the chief of staff and the head Democrat, the speaker, whoever was the number one Democrat, get them in a room and make a committee and tell them I'll do whatever they say." And so that didn't end up happening.
Yeah.
The second time he won the presidency was a moment for me too as a kid, because he won and it was just this dun, 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 that every time a president won, and Nixon, this whole thing, and then when Reagan won the second time, he wasn't with balloons. He was in a hotel room, footage you can find of him, and they cut to all these Republicans cheering, and they cut to him and Nancy on a couch watching on a TV, holding hands, and they look really upset. They're just sitting there, and he's literally going like this. And it may have been performative, but the signal was, I have to do it. It's my duty, but I don't want to do it. This is a grave responsibility.
Yeah.
He took it seriously, and he was frowning when he learned that he won. And that was a big character moment.
Yeah.
By an actor.
Of course.
But nonetheless, it was a big deal.
A lot of it's acting, a lot of these guys.
Yes.
And that's
Reagan.